Brendan, welcome to People in Legal.
Thank you.
Here we are at LawFest. How are you finding the day?
Oh, it's been brilliant. There's been a great amount of people through today, and all asking some really interesting questions about, how tech can help them out, and how the several providers in this event can actually assist them. So
hopefully we can get onto some of that a little bit later on. Is this your first law?
This is our second one. So this is our second year we've been here. We're finding that this year there's some really good questions being asked. Last year there was a lot of people here just blowing through, but I think the people here this year are quite interested to see.
There's a different feel, There is definitely.
I think people have caught up and gone, hey, AI can actually help us a bit.
Yeah.
And we actually need to get on the bus.
Yeah, indeed.
So, different questioning.
Okay, so we'll come back onto that. So first, a little bit about you. Just if you would, to our audience, just introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll come on to TorFX, and you can just tell us a little bit about what TorFX does and, your product range and offerings.
Brilliant. So I'm the country manager for New Zealand for TorFX, and I've been in this particular role for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And our company is based in the UK, but we have offices all over the world. We've got about 600 different people in our business.
Yep.
And most of our business is all aligned to the property sector.
Okay.
So by that, I mean we provide our FX services to people that are moving money to New Zealand and vice versa to buy property.
Okay.
We do facilitate all transactions.
Yep. Okay.
But that tends to be our main focus.
Okay.
Hence, we're here today at the law conference, as many of our partners are in the law sector.
Okay. All right. So do you get involved in the accountancy sector as well, or is it you okay? So
correct.
Any kind of foreign exchange where it's cross borders and
borders, exactly. And we align ourselves to what I'd call the property and asset purchasing channels. So we align to partners that have a touch point with a customer. So it could be the likes of a furniture removal company that is moving a customer from, say, London to New Zealand. It could be a tax accountant who's doing the tax work for someone migrating or going offshore. And it could be a wealth investment firm who is needing to accept X amount of dollars for the actual migrant visa to make that all spin. And so we work with all of those different partners and their customers.
So they come to you as opposed to, like more of an indirect or a...
Right, it's more of an indirect. So we rely predominantly on our partner firms and partner referral companies, such as those accounting companies and law firms. So we have a trusted relationship with them, and they provide referrals through to us as they understand our service. Our service is very much a high-touch service.
Okay. And this is probably more for me and, maybe the audience. So the banks are involved in those transactions, or is it literally your banks are not involved in those
Banks are not involved in those transactions. So although we still are within the banking system where we use the SWIFT platform, which all the banks use, we have clearing banks, which in New Zealand and Australia predominantly is ANZ.
Okay.
Our global banks are JP Morgan and also Barclays. And so those two banks have agency relationships with most banks that clear the funds. But from a customer perspective, once the funds are with us, they don't touch any other banks until they get to the beneficiary.
That's right.
At the other
receiving party. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So thanks for that. So let's move into the kind of the conference here and what you're hearing, and you said about people getting this idea that there's a very different feel about it, and perhaps a fear of missing out, maybe, or maybe real value creation. I don't know, but what's your take on that?
I think back to what we kind of started with. I think people have realised that they need to get on the bus now, because if they're not on the bus in terms of whether it's AI or just general tech that can assist them from a productivity perspective, they might miss out. Right? And by miss out, I think miss out on new customers coming on board, or potentially prevent customers from leaving. So I think there's some different rationales for the questioning today and for the interest. But ultimately, our products and a lot of our colleagues that are in there today are all around trying to create productivity and make things safer. And a lot of the questioning today has been around those two topics.
And how and specifically how TorFX uses AI to make that. Yes. Yeah. So, just as you're talking, I'm trying to think, where's the AI angle here, you know, what is the proposition with the tech and how that's evolved?
So this is probably a little bit off center in terms of your questioning, but
Sure.
what we do is we align with the AI.
Yeah.
And integrate with other platforms to provide a personal service.
Okay. All right.
So the legal practice management system, the CRM, etc., we can integrate with those systems to then get provided leads through to our team.
Yeah.
We've got large teams all over the world that then provide a personal service.
Okay. All right.
So instead of a bot talking to you,
it's a real.
you're going to get a real person.
Okay.
Or it might be me knocking on your door.
Well, I'm sure everyone will be pleased with that. And what about the future? Well, so I guess this question's twofold. Macro, you know, are you in the camp of, you know, the technology shift? Is it revolution or evolution? You know, I'd be really interested to know. I mean, people we've talked to today is pretty much down the middle, I think. You know, some are, you know, sitting on both sides. And then TorFX. So what's the future of TorFX as well?
I think, are we going through like a platform type change? I think in some areas maybe, but I think it's still very evolutionary.
Okay.
I think for those people that have been integrated into systems a long time ago, more sophisticated CRMs, AML processes, things like that, I think this year is more of an evolution. In terms of how we fit into that evolution, it's very much about productivity, productivity gain. So can we provide our foreign currency service faster and cheaper, but also safer and doing it like this?
So
that's a bit off.
Indeed.
Cycle,
I'm going to ask you maybe it's not a really interesting question, but how does crypto come into your world?
Crypto doesn't, because at the moment we don't trade crypto.
Okay.
So we are purely a currency provider or exchange provider for what you'd call the old colonial currencies. The USD, Euro,
Pound, Sterling,
all of that sort of currency. We also do Asian currencies, etc. But we haven't moved into that, let's call it digital currency yet.
Is that a threat, do you think, to your business? You know, with contracts on the blockchain, you know, as requiring an intermediary, like you're an intermediary at the moment in that process? Right?
I think it's a really good question. I think the value for our business and all of our competitors is in blockchain. With existing currency. Not so much the likes of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Are we going to be traders of that? Probably not. But I think we'd open our arms to different ways of transferring currency that makes it more efficient and better for customers.
Indeed. No, that's really interesting. Brendan, that's really great. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming and spending your time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.